Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Play Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright. My computer decided to crash in the middle of the recording, so here I am again, trying to do these voices again. And got pretty far in the last time, so my voice is kind of beaten from that a little bit. I apologize if the performance is not as up to notch as it usually is, but yeah, I did record it already once, so not looking forward to going into it again. But, you know, things happen. But hey, last we left off, we were trying to prove that Espella could not possibly hold the wand staff in either of her hands, and we just proven that she can't have held it when she was holding a milk bucket. I know, it's incredibly dumb, considering if you looked at the handle, regardless of either way, she couldn't have held it, so... whatever. Anyway, continuing on. What? That must mean, clearly you have the wrong bucket. We never lie when it comes to milk. That is the very bucket I took. What is Snowy doing? It looks like the witnesses are as surprised about this as Barnum. The defendant couldn't have been able to hold the bucket and the scepter at once. Also, we have already established that she was not holding a scepter in her right hand. Therefore, the defendant, Miss Espella Cantabella, was not holding a witch's scepter at any point during the incident. Rubble, rubble, rubble. Order, order! I said order! Just, what is the meaning of this? In all my days as judge of this court, I have never heard such an argument. These are but a paltry set of words, and yet they ring with such remarkable strength. Your Honor, what you just heard was logic. Logic, you say? What is with these two? They just silenced Inquisitor Barnum with mere words. Such foolishness! This must be some type of witchcraft! Wait, do you think... could they be witches? Really? It would seem that the concept of logic does not exist in this world. Somewhere far away, Miles Edgeworth is probably crying inside. Right! Then let's take this chance to knock their case down a peg or two! I'm worried if we keep this up, we'll all be joining Espella in a one-way trip to the flames.
Objection!
Most intriguing. A knight allows his sword to speak for him during battle. You have spoken with a sword of words. So be it. I, too, shall wield such a blade. What do you mean? Sir Blue Knight, there appears to be a hole in this logic of yours. A hole? According to the earlier testimony, it was believed the accused had the lantern hanging from her wrist by the handle. However, she supposedly dropped it, hence it being covered in mud. That's right. While that may be true, it does not necessarily mean the accused was therefore unable to use magic. It is merely a question of when she dropped the witch's scepter. What do you mean, Inquisitor Barnum? It is very simple, my lord. The accused, while first holding the lantern and the witch's scepter, cast her magic. Then she dropped both the lantern and the scepter. Ah. The witch's scepter was dropped after the spell was cast. Of course, yes, that must be it. What say you, Sir Blue Knight? That is but a taste of the knightly knowledge of the Inquisition. Wow! Sir Barnum cut through that baker's witchery like a hot knife through butter. Exemplary! I expect nothing less from the hand of Barnum. Oh, to be able to shake that powerful hand someday. I forgot what they're called, but anyway, the audience are very easily swayed. That Inquisitor isn't quite what he first appeared. Yeah, sure seems that way. Just a moment ago, it seemed like he'd never even heard of logical debate. Now he's suddenly using it against us. This guy's no joke, that's for sure. Bottom! Which, if you say it really quickly, it sounds like he's saying Burnham. Anyway, now then, most honorable witnesses, I ask that you lend us your aid once more. I request that you all testify to the court once more. Tell us, which occurred first, the dropping of the lantern or the casting of the spell? Witness, you may begin your testimonies. Tell this court in your own words about the sequence of events which transpired tonight. Okay, easy enough, right? Not really. Of course, the lantern fell to the ground after the incantation of Ignace. Sploosh! Splush?
I'm as sure as Snowy is white. I made certain to keep my eyes peeled on that milk bucket after all. Besides, how can you be sure the lantern just fell just because there's a little bit of mud on it?
Kira, are you still on that mud? These eyes do not lie! I saw the lantern in the accused's hand when the incantation was uttered! Figures. Their testimonies are all over the place now. These 4 testimonies, they are most intriguing. The witnesses all saw the same thing, and yet... people's memories are evidently quite fickle. They can never be a truly reliable source.
Well then, Professor, with enough poking and prodding, I bet we can really cause their testimonies to crumble.
Of course. We need to exploit their fickle memories to turn this thing around.
We've got this, Nick. We'll press them so hard they won't even remember what they had for breakfast.
I can't even remember what I had for breakfast. It's probably bread. Now, Sir Baker, you may begin your interrogation. Medieval judge is so amusing. Anyway, so we are pressing on Wordsmith, and I believe he's the only person we're pressing. Splush, really? Hold it! The lantern fell after the incantation. Are you positive about that? I say I am positively positive that I am positive. I heard her voice and then splush. That's splush. Was that the sound of the lantern hitting the ground? Indeed, but of course. Do you see? No. But if you look at the lantern, you'll notice that the glass is shattered. You specifically said you heard a splush. Shouldn't you have heard the sound of glass shattering when it hit the ground? The sound of glass shattering? No, I'm afraid I failed to catch your drift. Mary? Seems to have something to say there. I was present in an area a bit further away from the crime scene, you see. I have no recollection of hearing such a sound. Oh, come on, it's like broken glass. You can't miss it. No recollection. Precisely so. I'll have you know I can easily hear a dog barking across town. Do not underestimate my hearing. I wasn't. Relax, Grandpa. There is nothing of interest in this testimony. Will the witness with the goat, please proceed with her testimony?
Huh? Oh, right, you mean us. You startled us, didn't he, Snowy?
Yes, well, we would have liked to press you during that interrogation, so we're skipping everyone else now, because we don't need to press or present for any of them. What do you think, Nick? Did you notice anything fishy? Yeah, possibly. I think there may be something I can use.
Really? Wow, I didn't hear anything special.
There was definitely something out of place about that one witness's testimony. It was something I haven't noticed from any of the other witnesses so far. It appears you may have found something, Mr. Wright. A 4-witness cross-examination. This is something I've never done before. But then, maybe there's another way I should be tackling this. I believe it is worth trusting that intuition, Mr. Wright. Layton, you just know everything! Okay, got it. Alright, let's try pressing that old man one more time. Okay then. Pressing him the old man again.
Hold it!
The lantern fell after the incantation. Are you positive about that?
I say I am positively positive that I am positive. I heard her voice and then splush.
That splush. Was that the sound of the lantern hitting the ground?
Indeed, but of course. Do you see?
No, still I don't see. But if you look at the lantern, you'll notice the glass is shattered. You specifically said you heard a splush. Shouldn't you have heard the sound of the glass shattering when it hit the ground?
The sound of glass shattering? No, I'm afraid I failed to catch your drift.
Boom boom.
Hold it!
There it is, right there. I knew I heard something strange. Huh? But old Greybeard didn't say anything weird. Maya, it's not the old guy that said something weird. It's the person next to him. Next to him?
Oh, look there, Professor, the goat lady. She looks really deep in thought.
It would seem. She has noticed something odd in this elderly gentleman's testimony.
That's right! These cross-examinations have 4 witnesses! Hey, Nick! It looks like we're not the only ones paying attention to these testimonies!
You're right, which means if they're all listening to each other's testimonies... Correct, Mr. Wright. Each witness is fully aware of themselves and their own actions when in the middle of their own testimonies. However, it is while listening to the testimonies of others that the witnesses may sometimes reveal the most valuable information. I see, it's habitual. They can't tell they're doing it, but I can. And I'm going to use it to turn the tide back in our favor. In fact, I do believe I may have spotted our first opening in which to test this new technique. Mr. Wright, could I draw your attention to the touchscreen? The touchscreen? Sliding the magnifying glass during a witness's testimony will allow you to shift your focus across to another witness. Right, so the important thing here isn't the witness that's in the mid-testimony, it's the other 3 witnesses listening. It's just a matter of catching them off guard and questioning them.
What are you waiting for, Nick? Let's give it a shot!
How about we try questioning the goat lady next to old Greybeard? Okay, all I have to do is slide the magnifying glass over to that witness. And I think the music should change now. Yeah! I love this track! Oh?
Hang on!
Hang on! I'm not sure if that's the tone you should be going for hang on, but, you know. Excuse me, Miss Mary? Oh!
Do you mean us? But Snowy and I have nothing else left to say.
I knew it. I caught her completely by surprise. Mr. Wordsmith just gave his testimony. He told us all about the sound he heard when the lantern fell to the ground. Mr. Wordsmith didn't seem too sure, but I wonder if you might happen to have something to say about this.
Huh? Well, that's... Is that all right, Sir Barnum? Maybe we answer the question.
Do what you will, madam. There is no need for formalities. Huh?
Well, we'll try and explain, won't we, Snowy? The truth is, we did hear something. That is to say, we heard the sound of the lantern glass shattering. We're sure of it. It was frighteningly loud.
Oh, we're getting something.
It quite startled us, didn't it, Snowy, dear? I looked in the direction of the sound, but I couldn't see anything, let alone the girl or those 2 thieves. It was a tad dark, after all.
When the glass shattered, the flame inside must have gone out, hence she could not see them. That seems to be the gist of it.
Then, as I peered into the darkness, I heard it.
You heard it? You heard... What did you hear exactly?
You know, that! I heard... the incantation for the spell Ignaze.
Hello. What did you just say? No, hold it right there, witness.
Yes, my lord.
The glass shattered when the lantern fell. Then after that you heard the incantation for the spell Ignaze. Do you swear to this court that this is, without a doubt, correct?
Yes. maybe, I think.
How about my testimony? What of my oratorical observation? That blasted spell Ignace occurred first, then the lantern plummeted to the ground.
I heard no such thing. There was no sound of shattering glass.
Absurd! Simply absurd! So the lantern fell and the glass shattered. This does not change the very fact that this girl is a witch!
Objection!
I hate to disappoint you, but that's not quite the case. In fact, this testimony changes a lot. Wouldn't you agree, Inquisitor Barnum? What is the meaning of this? Let's go over what we know so far. In order for the witch to use any magic, they must be holding a witch's scepter. And yet, none of the 4 witnesses saw a defendant holding a scepter of any kind. That's because the scepter was made to disappear with the spell Demire, correct? At the time of the crime, the 2 victims grabbed Miss Cantabella's arm, causing her to drop the lantern on the ground. And at the time, she was in fact holding an invisible she was in fact holding an invisible scepter, then the scepter must have fallen when she dropped the lantern. Now, let's say, hypothetically, that Miss Cantabella really is a witch. In order to use any magic, she would have to recite the spell before dropping the scepter. However, as our witness Miss Mary has just stated in her testimony, she heard the incantation for Ignace after hearing the lantern's glass shatter.
What?
Ooh. You do all understand what that means, don't you? It means that Miss Cantabella, the supposed witch you've locked up, could not possibly have cast any magic. Therefore, the defendant, Espella Cantabella, is clearly in no way, shape, or form a witch. Wah! Oh, ah! Oh my god, wordsmith. Ooh, this corner music is awesome too. Such frivolity! Do you realize what you're insinuating? Do you really think she is not a witch?
Such nonsense! Did any of you listen to my testimony? We did, but you're wrong. There was no glass shattering. Are you calling me a lawyer, Missy? You couldn't even see the mud on the lantern when it was plain as day.
Wait. What ridiculous claims, all of you! Okay, I went a little too fast, but it looked like Snowy was eating Kira's flowers.
Oh, hush! Take your little toy sword and go back to playing pretend, Sir Knight.
Snowy is eating Kira's flowers. I did not notice that the first time I went through this game. They must taste delicious. Oh, Barnum is not happy. Witnesses. This is a court of law, not a playground. Must I remind you of the importance of this proceedings? Witches and their magic threaten our fair town of Labyrinthia. Your words here today could decide the fate of every single citizen within our walls. Do you understand? As such, I expect each of you to take your role seriously and testify honestly about what you saw. In all my days as judge of this court, I have never seen such behavior. Behavior that leaves a cloud of doubt over the credibility of each of your testimonies. Indeed, my lord, quite a miserable set of witnesses this lot. I see. It would appear this trial has come to a sudden halt. Huh? So, that must mean... Quite right. It means you have won this trial, Mr. Wright. We've... won. I can hardly believe the situation we have found ourselves in. I did not anticipate this trial ending with such a strange turn of events. But due to these witnesses' dubious credibility, I can see no reason to continue. What say you, Inquisitor Barnum? As you wish, my lord.
What is going on? They're actually going to let this witch run free through the town. curses if it wasn't for that witch and her friends.
When truth is staring them in the face, they don't care. They only care about Bonham, which sounds like burn it. And holy shit, what just happened? Oh no.
Wait a blooming second. This trial ain't even close to being over.
Oh no.
Not before I take the stand to testify.
I love his name is some guy.
Order! Order! Who is this buffoon?
The court jester.
Behold! Who am I, you ask? Who am I? Why? I'm the man that's gonna single-handedly save this trial. I'm the fifth witness.
Say what?
Huh? What?
Even Barnum didn't see this one coming.
Just as I thought, this trial was going down the drain before I got here. Okay, you lot, assemble! We need a strategy meeting, ASAP!
I say, who are you? Thank goodness you showed up. We can't give up now, everyone.
It has come down to this! To arms, everyone! We shall do battle against that baker and that hut seller! I can't believe this! What the heck is going on? Truly fascinating. It seems a new witness has taken the stand. It is not fascinating, it is frustrating! What's more, he appears to be quite the formidable witness. Well, I guess this trial is still far from over. Oh boy. To be continued. Actually, we're gonna continue because what? Only 22 minutes in? We can definitely keep going. And then you're going to realize how much I hate this some guy person. A lot. Alright, let's save the game. Sure. Let's go. Let's go. I hate this guy so much. Like, it's more the case of he was funny for a while, but then it just got irritating kind of character. Okay. Anyway. Well then, we'll now continue with the trial of Isabella Cantabella. Oh god. Oh boy. Group of witnesses huddling up before a joint testimony in witch trial. You can't make this stuff up. Inquisitor Barnum, if I may ask you a question. Yes, my lord. We now have 5 witnesses on the stand, so I must ask, why was this obnoxious-looking man left out of your initial group of witnesses? Baldy's right, Barnum! That's just cold-blooded! Oh god. If there's anything good about him though, it's his theme music. It's rather nice. There is but one reason, my lord. I did not know this witness even existed. Eh? You, sir, failed to come forward. When we were asking for witnesses for this very trial, you were nowhere to be seen. He's got a point. That's 'cause I didn't hear a peep about it. I ain't usually around at night, except for maybe at Rogue's Tavern. So, you're basically telling us that you were up all night, drinking. Anyway, it's all water under the bridge now, as far as I'm concerned. Just leave the rest to yours truly. Who are you? Ha 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 ha! Ugh! During the last interrogation, the defender brought forth some surprising proof. Namely, that there was little possibility the accused could have used magic. I have never heard such a claim. It must be the doing of this logic. What rubbish! Logic, you say? I ain't got a clue what that is. But I do know that there's bread baking. A baker ought to head back to the bakery. Eloquently said. Oi, Grumps! Give me and me partners over here a chance to speak. You wanna know how this witch managed to be holding the scepter, don't ya? God. Oh, when you say Grumps, you must mean me, would you? I fail to see anyone else meeting such a description.
We'll show you she's a witch. All bets on Snowy's beautiful white coat on it.
On guard! No. Alright, team, let's do this! Witnesses! I'm not sure if this is a courtroom anymore. Yes, well, let us proceed with the testimonies. Why do I feel like I've totally lost control of this situation? You were thinking the same thing I was thinking. Witness testimony! I don't know which one this is, but it's a testimony.
It's clear as day. Isabella is a witch. We're not backing down on this.
When she dropped the lantern, the scepter was not yet in her hands.
The scepter must have been hidden by magic and carried onto her back.
The rogues grabbed her by the hand that held the lantern, so she must have had another way of holding that scepter. That's easy. The girl just put the bucket down on the ground and picked up the switch's magic stick. Magic stick! So she had the witch's scepter behind her back. She then dropped the lantern and reached for the scepter after it fell. If that is the case, then it must have been possible for the accused to have used magic. Oh, man. This is bad. Thanks to this guy, now all the witnesses seem extra determined to pin this thing on Expella. They each harbor a shared anger towards witches and magic. Such is the cause of their strong desire to see a guilty verdict passed as quickly as possible. However, such confidence is undoubtedly bound to cloud their better judgment and thinking. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think these guys mean any real harm, but they're all riled up. They don't even realize how distorted their idea of what happened tonight has become. At least, that's how it seems.
This isn't good, Professor. The witnesses aren't thinking straight. They're completely blind to the truth.
Sir Baker, Sir Wright. Yes? You do not appear to be a mere simple baker, that much is clear. On the other hand, you are no ordinary defender either. Never before has a defender managed to clash and do battle with me here, on this battlefield as an equal. Sir Blue Knight, this trial has not yet been decided. If there is any doubt in your interrogation, I will not hesitate to strike your case down where it stands. I understand. Defender, please begin your interrogation. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so, we're going to present the bucket at Mr. Some Guy here. Because that ain't possible. Because if that were the case, I think the milk bucket would be kinda, you know, not have a spill of milk or something. Anyway, let's present the bucket here.
Objection!
I'm afraid what really happened is not quite so simple. What? What you talking about? It had only just stopped raining moments before the crime took place. As a result, the ground was very muddy. If Miss Cantabella really placed this bucket on the ground, like you claim she did, then it should be caked with mud, just like the lantern was after it fell. Ah! Well, I'd say that clears your muddy testimony, wouldn't... I say that clears up your muddy testimony, wouldn't you? Say? I think there's a missing word. Well, hey, Barnum! What? You're just gonna sit there looking pretty? Come on, give me a hand here! Flattery will get you nowhere, witness. Other than perhaps to the dungeon. At any rate, there is but one question we ought to ask. Why is there no mud on that bucket? To the witness with the goat, may I ask you a question?
Huh? Are you talking to us?
Indeed, you admit to the court that you returned home with the milk bucket. Illegally, I must add.
Oh, my, such harsh words, Inquisitor.
When you took the bucket home, you must have simply wiped the mud from the bucket, is that correct?
You know, now that you mentioned it...
Oh no.
No way, don't tell me. That milk bucket! Ah, that's right, I remember now. I don't know if that was on the bucket. I don't know if what was on the bucket was mud exactly, but it certainly was dirty. Before taking it inside with me, I remember wiping it clean with an old rag.
Are you kidding me?
Exceptional work, Inquisitor Barnum. Right, it all makes perfect sense. See, we were all right all along. Weren't we, Inquisitor Barnum?
I knew that sword wasn't just for show, Barnum. You sliced his argument in two.
Objection!
Oh, god damn it. Witness, Miss Mary.
What is it?
You're absolutely sure there was mud stuck to this milk bucket?
Oh my, well, truth be told, I don't remember whether it was mud exactly. But I do remember cleaning the bucket off when I got home.
Ugh. It would seem the defense has failed to disprove the witness's claims. Of that, we can be certain. Ha ha! That'll teach ya, Bluey! You got that right! Do me a favor, will ya, Gramps? I want to change my testimony just a tiny bit. Oh, God. I will allow it only if the witness refrains from name-calling in the future. You got it, milord! Well, all this court mumble-jumble has left me thirstier than a dog in a desert. Really? I'm not sure he should have been drinking that much before he, well, says something. Anyway, I actually do need to stop here. Because, wow, I just hit 32 minutes and didn't realize it. And we will find out what happens in the next episode. As I sit here. While that may be true, it does not necessarily mean the accused was therefore unable to use magic. It is merely a question of when she dropped the witch's scepter. What do you mean, Inquisitor Barnum? It is very simple, my lord. The accused, while first holding the lantern and the witch's scepter, cast her magic. Then she dropped both the lantern and the scepter. Ah. The witch's scepter was dropped after the spell was cast. Of course, yes, that must be it. What say you, Sir Blue Knight? That is but a taste of the knightly knowledge of the Inquisition.
Wow! Sir Barnum cut through that baker's witchery like a hot knife through butter.
Exemplary! I expect nothing less from the hand of Barnum. Just what is the meaning of this? In all my days as judge of this court, I have never heard such an argument. These are but a paltry set of words, and yet they ring with such remarkable strength. Your Honor, what you just heard was logic. Logic, you say?
What is with these two? They just silenced Inquisitor Barnum with the mere words.
Such foolishness! This must be some type of witchcraft.
Wait, do you think... could they be witches?
Really? It would seem that the concept of logic does not exist in this world. Somewhere far away, Miles Edgeworth is probably crying inside.
Right! Then let's take this chance to knock their case down a peg or two.
I'm worried if we keep this up, we'll all be joining Espella in a one-way trip to the flames.
Objection!
Most intriguing. A knight allows his sword to speak for him during battle. You have spoken with a sword of words. So be it. I, too, shall wield such a blade. What do you mean? Sir Blue Knight, there appears to be a hole in this logic of yours. A hole? According to the earlier testimony, it was believed the accused had the lantern hanging from her wrist by the handle. However, she supposedly dropped it, hence it being covered in mud. That's right. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Play Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright. My computer decided to crash in the middle of the recording, so here I am again, trying to do these voices again. And got pretty far in the last time, so my voice is kind of beaten from that a little bit. I apologize if the performance is not as up to notch as it usually is, but yeah, I did record it already once, so not looking forward to going into it again. But, you know, things happen. But hey, last we left off, we were trying to prove that Espella could not possibly hold the wand staff in either of her hands, and we just proven that she can't have held it when she was holding a milk bucket. I know, it's incredibly dumb, considering if you looked at the handle, regardless of either way, she couldn't have held it, so... whatever. Anyway, continuing on. What? That must mean, clearly you have the wrong bucket.
We never lie when it comes to milk. That is the very bucket I took.
What is Snowy doing? It looks like the witnesses are as surprised about this as Barnum. The defendant couldn't have been able to hold the bucket and the scepter at once. Also, we have already established that she was not holding a scepter in her right hand. Therefore, the defendant, Miss Espella Cantabella, was not holding a witch's scepter at any point during the incident. Rubble, rubble, rubble. Order, order! I said order!